Why the world really wants Venezuela? What if I told you that one of the richest countries on earth isn't wealthy? Not because it lacks resources, but because the world has fought over its underground treasures for decades. Today we are diving deep into Venezuela, a nation sitting literally on some of the most valuable natural worth on the planet, and asking the question millions are whispering. Is this the real reason the United States has spent so much political and military capital targeting? Let's start with the most obvious facts. Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world, over 300 billion barrels of crude oil buried, mainly in the Orinoco Belt, a region so massive that it surpasses even Saudi Arabia in total reserves. But here's the twist. Despite this staggering worth, Venezuela hardly produces oil at its potential. Its output has plunged from millions of barrels per day decades ago to just a fraction of that today due to mismanagement, collapsing infrastructure, and years of sanctions. So why does this matter? Because oil is still the lifeblood of the global economy. Nearly 80% of the world's energy needs are made by fossil fuels, and countries with huge reserves wield enormous power, especially to influence prices, power to shape markets, and power to control strategic energy flows. But Venezuela isn't just about oil. Underneath its large forest and ancient rock formation lies treasure trove of strategic minerals, from gold and diamonds to cotton, nickel, iron ore, bauxite, and even rare earth elements essential for modern electronics and defense technology. This isn't small potatoes. This is minerals that are the backbone of everything from smartphones, electric vehicles to missiles and satellites. Expert estimates that part of Venezuela could contain tens of thousands of tons of gold, significant cotton deposits used in high-tech and military manufacturing, and huge iron and aluminum reserves that makes it one of the most resource-rich countries in the Western Hemisphere. Yet most of the world is barely developed and often exploited illegally. Now let's zoom out. Why would a superpower like the United States, the world's largest oil producer itself, care so much? Officially, the US government statements frame action towards Venezuela as response to political depression, drug trafficking, and human rights abuses. But many analysts and even some political leaders worldwide argue that underneath these narratives lies a deeper strategic calculus, access to Venezuela's vast oil and minerals wealth, and the ability to influence global markets and geopolitical balance. In recent months, the US has openly discussed unlocking Venezuela oil for American companies, and shares for major US energy firms rallies when this idea gained traction, signaling Wall Street's keen interest in these untapped barrels. Meanwhile, US forces captured Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro in an unprecedented operation, a dramatic move that shocked the region and sent clear signals to allies and rivals. Critics argue this isn't about spreading democracy, it's about reshaping who controls the world's most valuable natural assets. And when you consider that literally in every 5 barrels of known global oil in Venezuela, and that future technologies depend on many nations struggle to secure, it's no wonder powerful nations are joking for influence. But here's the harsh truth. Decades of poor governance, corruption, economic mismanagement, and sanctions have left Venezuela unable to capitalize on its own bounty. The giant with the golden goose has crippled its ability to feed itself, let alone thrive. Meanwhile, global powers circle, each with their own interests and narratives. So you ask yourself, when you hear about protecting democracy, combating near-poor terrorism, and also this, who stands to gain if Venezuela oil starts flowing again, controlled by foreign capital? And who stands to lose if control stays in Caracas? This isn't just geopolitics. This is a modern resource war, a battle over oil, minerals, influence, and economic future. And whether you think that's right or wrong, this is the real world we live in today. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. Stay black, stay committed, stay accountable. See you in the next one.